Chris!
Heath.
Dude, we have to talk about the third Sonic movie, even if it kills you.
Yeah, very well might.
But let's get the call to action out of the way. Do your job.
Well, welcome, everybody. This is Mobius Tubes, episode 116. We're a video game podcast. We're recording this episode on February 1st. Samantha is joining us as well.
Hi.
The trio is here. This isn't really a game worth discussing right now, but I want to get out in front of it to get the credit. When you inevitably play, Heath, the root trees are dead. It's Heath Bait.
I'm looking it up.
It's on Steam. It's going to be this year's detective mystery solving game you adore.
Wait,
Ooh.
I want to play that.
No, you're not allowed. Only Heath is allowed.
Boo.
Heavily inspired by Return of the Obra Dinn. It has the same method of locking in your progress where you need to have like 3 pieces of evidence confirmed. It follows a family tree, the root trees.
Yeah, double O.
My mistake. They're in the candy making business. And
Somebody falls in a vat of Werther's Originals.
Oh, no.
Just melted to death.
you have to piece together the family tree. It's set in the 90s, I believe. There's a rudimentary online search engine. You can like find information about some of the more famous family members, but obviously people with a lower profile won't have an online presence. It's been getting glowing reviews on everyone I hear from. Yeah, so the root trees are dead. When you inevitably play it 11 months from now and you love it, I want the credit. Lock in the credit for me right now.
You won't have to wait 11 months. I'll just leave it at that.
Wow, okay. Excellent. That was my public announcement for all those mystery-loving fiends in our audience.
So the Sonic 3 movie. I'll start with the positives first. The animation is great. I was watching a clip of what I thought was Crush 40's I Am All of Me slowed down reverb. Do you know how the kids are doing that with songs? They say it's not on your head. So I was watching that just thinking it was going to be from the game. And I was mistaken. It was a clip from the movie. Just the setting and all the posing of the characters, like the blocking itself was so true to the source material. I was like, wow, this is excellent. So I watched it for much longer than I thought I would have.
Just to cut in, is this prompted by, was there a new trailer or something?
The film debuted in theaters.
Oh, okay.
You could watch it.
I could watch it. Okay.
It's out. You will never watch it. It's made for children.
Sure.
Right.
Sonic has corrupted a whole new generation thanks to these films.
On to the negatives. I don't know if I want to blame this on Deadpool, but there is a fourth wall break in the film that was so wretched. It needs to be purged from all filmmaking going forward. Jim Carrey, who is the offending actor in this fourth wall break, he did that also in like The Grinch, but never to the extent of this movie. It just immersion shattering.
How do you know about this? Surely you didn't see the film yourself.
No, but you want to know what's the driving force of why so much Sonic 3 now?
Why so much Sonic 3 now?
Because of the laser room dance scene. The laser room dance scene is so fire. And everybody listening to this already knows what I'm talking about. It's when both Robotniks do the Running Man at the beginning when the camera pulls out. It is the cleanest Running Man you've ever seen. I'm calling it the hetero Honeybee Inn.
Oh.
It was so good. I don't whip it out right now because there's parts of it that I don't like. Sort of like the Honeybee Inn. That's all that I wanted to say about Sonic 3.
Wow. Left an impression at the very least. Is this the first one with Shadow in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Voiced by
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, that's right.
Much like Johnny Silverhand.
Johnny Silverhand, who I've met now.
Oh,
I don't
yeah?
know if we want to jump into that right this instant.
You could swap their dialogue and you might not notice.
We're hopping into games we've been playing. I can do a very cursory Cyberpunk 2077 update. Since I'm still chipping away at that, this won't last long, but I will say, after yesterday's play session, 11 hours into my Cyberpunk experience, which, as listeners recall from last episode, I haven't quite been gelling with. It hasn't sunk its hooks into me. There were some external factors impeding my enjoyment. But 11 hours into it, yesterday, I finally hit the title card of the game, where it hits you with Cyberpunk 2077. Here's the game. It begins now. And I was so surprised. I was kind of misled. Is I suppose what that indicates is everything I've experienced up until now was just like the prologue.
Tutorial Island.
Setting the premise, more than a season's worth of television runtime to set the premise.
More than a season? What?
Yeah, like a season of TV is 10 hours, you know?
Yeah.
11 hours in is when I finally start the game proper, I guess.
How much is that is driving?
Not very much.
Are you obeying the cyber traffic laws?
I'm afraid to violate them because I feel like if I nick a single car and the cyber police will be all over my ass.
Cyber
This
ass.
game has traffic cops?
It has
Every open world has traffic cops.
it has a GTA wanted system.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me that.
So this is maybe a pattern I'm starting to detect with Witcher 3 also has a extended prologue in a area of the map that's very like sequestered, isolated called White Orchard, which I think lasted me in the ballpark of like 7 hours, which I also did not love when I was dipping my toes into Witcher 3 for the first time.
What? Hang on. That ends when you open the 2 doors and you go to the continent map? Or does that
I
end during
think
like the
so.
bubble bath with the king that recaps the past 2 games?
I think the former, where you
2 doors. Okay.
2 doors. I guess I don't like how CD Projekt Red tends to open their RPG epics. The opening chapter of their 2 big games I played so far have not really grabbed me. Now, when I got into Witcher 3 campaign proper, when you arrive in Velen, loved it. I was off to the races. And hopefully that is the same with Cyberpunk, but that remains to be seen. I haven't really played since I hit the title card. And I guess when you finish the prologue of Cyberpunk, an achievement pops, which on Steam you can see like what percentage of users have unlocked each achievement. And I guess I'm not alone because 30% of Cyberpunk players have fallen off before reaching the title card of the game. Only 69 point something percent of players got that far into the campaign. So I guess CD Projekt Red take notes for Witcher 4, maybe get into the thick of things a little bit faster, have a faster on-ramp. That would be my suggestion. The other kind of revelation to me was I thought, as a first-person inventory-heavy game, Cyberpunk was probably ideally experienced with a mouse and keyboard at my desk.
Yeah.
Hence the chair arc I've been going through, finding a new office chair. Maybe I'll update listeners on that later. But it was a revelation to me. I think Cyberpunk is actually a better sitting on a couch looking at a TV game. And I think this is the case because despite its first-person shooter nature, I didn't spend very much of my 11 hours actually pulling a trigger. It's really a lot of laying back, listening to conversations, making dialogue choices. It's a very narrative-heavy RPG. Since it isn't there's certainly combat in the game, but that's a minority of my playtime, shooting people. The mouse and keyboard precision wasn't as necessary as I thought it was going to be. It's more of a sit back, relax, absorb the dialogue, enjoy the character interactions type of game. At least that's my impressions as of this moment. And that's my Cyberpunk update. Okay, that's enough from me. Heath, you've been a gamer lately. You've been playing lots of games.
Who told you? Oh, yeah, we're talking about that. Okay. All right. The worst puzzle in The Witness is the soundproof room.
We're back to The Witness.
I hated that one.
The 2016 puzzle game from Jonathan Blow, all about line puzzles. Heath has finished it.
Yeah, before I got in the Charlie Chocolate Factory elevator and flew around, I saw in the destroyed town, the basement of one of those houses.
That's the room, Chris, you and I never solved.
Oh,
We
okay.
kept going
For
back
good reason.
there thinking, oh, we must need more information. Then we'd go back and be like, information not present.
Because it defies the logic of the introductory panels.
Oh.
Right? Because you're supposed to... Okay, all right. I was trying to avoid spoilers. You're supposed to listen,
Yeah.
and it's just the call and response.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at the floor of the thing that's broken in the corner, and I see the dots, and everyone's eyes are drawn to the dots. Because what else has dots? The freaking grid between the lines.
Yeah.
So you're like, is that a big dot and that's a small dot? They're kind of about the same size. Some of these are clumped closer together and stuff. It's just the most red herring. The whole game has some red herrings, but this one was just so, it betrayed the universe because you're supposed to, the solution is literally any solution. As long as puzzle A and puzzle B don't contradict each other.
Oh.
You could do like do, re, mi, and as long as the other one do, re, mi's, the wire lights up.
Oh.
Which is like, this speaker in the corner was designed to play a certain frequency. And upon breaking it, the puzzles wipes the memory of the solution such that any solution is valid?
We might have solved this one, actually, if there was a wire connecting to it. The one I was thinking of was also in a basement. It's like a big room, and there's like a puzzle on the floor.
Is puzzles required to reach the end of the game?
Like the big tower in the center of the town. I think this one was either a door on the tower itself or a door in the adjacent structure that opens the tower door.
Then we definitely solved it, and I guess...
It failed to leave an impression.
Okay, but anyway, like all the rest of the puzzle in the whole game are like valid.
Rare,
And this one, it's like the solution's on the back of the box. Like how would you be supposed to know? And then I was just going to say, it made me so mad. I was going to go to Jonathan Blow's house because I know where he lives and knock over his stack of pennies.
I'll do it with you.
Yeah.
And final thoughts, are you still high on The Witness? You had a fun time?
Yes.
And just to clarify what you said about knocking over Jonathan Blow's stack of pennies.
Yeah.
Is that in a live action video?
It sure is.
Somehow Samantha and I didn't see that.
Well, because you have to unlock the secret ending.
And what was the prerequisite for that?
In tutorial playpen, you look at the white laser fence and line it up with the sun.
Okay.
Sun down, and it opens a portal to a basically Disneyland resort. And you know the like story behind The Witness, right?
Perhaps not.
Okay, you were a literal ass game developer testing the puzzles in The Witness.
You knew that, Chris, because you told me that.
Did I?
Yeah. We both watched the same essay.
Yeah.
That complained about The Witness. Excellent essay. I don't know whose channel that was. I forgot. But yeah, you literally escape the simulation and wake up as the mind of the game dev that's playtesting. And then you knock over the pennies.
What compelled you once you finish the game and it takes you on this through the sky voyage as you pan across all the puzzles you've solved, and it takes you back to the very beginning tunnel where you started.
Yeah.
Samantha and I's inclination was, okay, the job is done, and then we exited the game. Why did you keep playing?
No, I don't think you did exit the game. I think the game quits by itself.
Perfect. Yeah.
Which I loved.
Yeah. And
Oh
we
my
were
God, Chris, this is the same thing that happened with you in Undertale.
Yeah, as soon as the game force quits, I'm like, well, my job here is done.
That's why he never finished Undertale. Is because it force quit on him, and he was like, "Game over, I guess," and like went home.
What about my day?
Yeah.
Very funny. And says more about Chris than it does the game.
Yes.
What compelled me to open it back up? Or no,
Yeah.
I didn't open the game back up. I just went on the spoiler spree.
Oh, okay.
And that clued me in on the final game. I just wanted to see what the people were saying about The Witness. And also, like, I never in-game found in the Hall of the Mountain King
You have to do
trials.
all of the lasers for that. So you have to solve every single area completely.
Of which there are 11, not 12, like we stated last episode.
I did solve all the lasers.
Then when you're in the bottom of the mountain, right before you go out to like the final where there's the pillars, there's like a guy sitting down and he has a puzzle in his lap.
Guy's puzzle was dark.
Guy's puzzle needs to be lit up. So
Hence,
you're missing
laser number.
a thing.
Insufficient lasers. Okay.
Yeah. And then if you solve that, you can unlock the Hall of the Mountain King stuff. I wouldn't recommend ever doing that. It
Unless you
seems
have-
like hell.
Yeah, unless you have a lot of time to burn.
Yeah, unless you know you're going to be really bored for a long time.
Yeah.
Seems bad.
All right.
Why is this game not sold with the Looker as an orange box style package deal? They are inseparable.
Well, that's very true. They kind of are, considering the Looker's price of admission is free.
Yeah, and its namesake is unavoidable.
So we're transitioning to talking about the quirky parody game of The Witness, released about 6 years after the fact by a different developer on Steam for free as like a fun little project. Only takes 2 hours to finish.
Timeless. They released 6 years apart. They could have released the same day, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I agree.
All three of us have played it. Samantha and I played it maybe like a month ago, so we're a little not quite as fresh, but
I remember all the important parts.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, Sam. I played 90% of it in my first session.
Yeah.
I got stopped by the diamond puzzle it's like the only real hard, difficult puzzle with like the symbols that lets you go into the the area that gives you a big picture view of the courtyard
Yeah.
from above. So I almost stopped at that 90% mark because I was like, oh, I'd had my fill of the fun jokes.
Yeah.
You know, I exhausted the dialogue of the noir hint button.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't do it. Maybe you're stupid. I mean, we could just rehash all of the jokes in that game and it would still be funny.
The Witness, the first game, is required reading to enjoy the Looker.
Yeah.
While you could mechanically finish the Looker without it, your level of appreciation would not be there because every aspect of the Witness experience gets lampooned in the Looker. From the audio logs you find that are like espousing very esoteric wisdom, and now they're just like, what was the one about?
Marco
Polo, like Art of the Deal.
I like the joke in the Looker because in the Witness, the lasers, they're so slow to come out, right? they take ages. In the Looker, like
They're even
obviously the
longer.
developer realized this and he was like, how do I make this even stupider? And he made the slowest laser that pops out into a smaller laser, into like a smaller laser, and then a mirror comes up and it's glacial. And I was like, yeah, that's funny. I like that.
Bradley Lovell is the developer that made the Looker. I feel like we mentioned Jonathan Blow.
Yeah.
We have to mention this guy's name.
Shout him out.
Yeah, he's great.
My favorite part of the game was the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So funny, where he's like, one more puzzle before retirement, and then he dies, and then the game closes just like The Witness. Beautiful. I'm spoiling the very end of the game, but this is going to end up on my top 10 list at a spot it really shouldn't.
I think if you've even played like half The Witness and you're like, I don't want to play this game anymore, you should play The Looker.
Right.
It's so good. Yeah.
Have a
For what it is.
a catharsis, because presumably if you're giving up on The Witness, it's because it frustrated you.
Yeah.
Here's your payback.
Here's
for
your
playing The
like
Looker.
guy who was like so mad at The Witness. He made a whole game making fun of it, and it's
Right.
beautiful. Yeah.
Unfortunately, your favorite part of the game, that end credits scene, was kind of lost on me since I didn't see the live action video from The Witness.
I would invite Bradley Lovell to my birthday party. We would hang so easily because his sense of humor is so funny.
It's amazing. I think that's one of the most hilarious games I've played. And while a lot of comedy games are held up for their funny writing, and while the Looker does have funny writing, a lot of its humor is contained within the mechanical jokes of the puzzles you're solving.
And there's some like environmental humor. It's a very
Right.
weird sense of humor, but I like it.
It's a style of comedic planning and joke telling you couldn't really get outside of a video game.
Some of the stuff is a little fish out of water. The laser shooter target kind of
Oh, right. Where you have to rapidly solve
minigame
puzzles.
in like a corner of the castle.
Yeah. That was hard.
Yeah, and like that stuff, I take it or leave it. Or even the Snake arcade game.
Snake was so fun.
I mean, you say that, but I much prefer the horror shooter analog. And
Yeah, when I got a gun, I was like, what am I playing?
this is
right now?
good. You know where I was expecting the gun to pop up again is if you turn 180 in that starter tunnel and you go all the way back and like the music starts ramping up and you pick up a health pack.
Right, it's like Doom.
I wish Bradley made more. I hunger for a sequel to The Looker more so than a sequel to The Witness.
Jonathan Blow needs to release a new game so that this guy can parody it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how these two are cosmically linked.
What's the Looker dev's name again?
Bradley Lovell.
Does Bradley have any other games to his repertoire?
No.
Has he released?
If he does, we've never heard of him. No.
Okay.
Thanks for playing this, Heath. I'm glad you played the entirety of The Witness just so you could play The Looker and talk about it with us.
Just so you could play this shit post of a game.
But it was worth it, right?
But it was so
It
worth
was
it.
so worth it.
I got scared at the part where they give you a gun. I was tense.
I spent much too long in the hedge maze, though.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Little
I
tricky,
kept
that
thinking
part.
there was more to see in
Yeah.
there. And it's just the one thing, and then you can go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Advice to friend of the show, Janice. You played enough of The Witness to appreciate The Looker. So do yourself a favor and boot it up.
The Looker, if you're not going for achievements like Chris was, it can take you like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Chris only took 2 hours because he wanted to 100% it.
And if that's too much of a time commitment, just watch the video, The Looker. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of friend of the show, Janice, Samantha and I have played a game he sent to us. At long last, we have played and completed Love is All Around. The Chinese live-action dating sim.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
Just in times for Valentine's Day. So just listeners, this might sound vaguely familiar to you because about a year ago, there was a brief saga where friend of the show, Janice, gifted Heath a copy of this game on Steam, Love Is All Around, which he rejected, denied.
I was like, what's this malware?
He returned it to sender. And then it ended up in my Steam library because Samantha and I were kind of jazzed to play it as a joke around Valentine's Day in 2024. However, when we tried to boot it up on the TV, it did not support controllers on Steam, which made it impractical to play on the couch. So we said, what a shame, and we tabled it. 1 year later, Valentine's Day is creeping up. We just checked in on it again, and lo and behold, the game had been updated with controller support, so we were able to play it this year. And we're here to report on our findings.
And just so you know, we finished the base game and we were enjoying it so much that Chris bought the DLC.
I might slightly push back against that. I was compelled to get more of the achievements enough that I purchased the DLC.
He's loving it.
Oh, I see.
So just for the uninitiated, this is an incredibly niche game. Love Is All Around. It's a pretty conventional dating sim where you take on the role of... So help me out, Samantha.
Guyi.
That's
not how you pronounce it, but I'm doing my
bad
best
with
here.
these names.
Yeah.
He a down on his luck artist. After a failed business venture, I think he's
millions in debt.
Remains to be seen which currency, I guess millions of Chinese currency. Probably not as bad as that sounds. But yeah, he's down on his luck, heavily in debt. And he's walking into the lives of these 6 beautiful Chinese women looking to adopt him. And you follow a branching narrative trying to
adopt him.
Especially in the case of the CEO.
It feels like it. Yeah. These women are begging us to take their money. And I'm like, I must be just the hottest man who's ever lived with what these women are doing.
Right. It's told entirely from a first-person perspective. So you never get to see what your protagonist looks like. But based on the reactions, he must be an absolute stud.
Like, these women are absolute 10s. A lot of them have, like, very successful careers. Or, like, they're like, they're also really funny. They have a lot going for them, you know? They're not losers, and we are just a complete loser. We have, like, nothing going for us.
And yet they are squabbling over each other, begging to pay your rent for you.
Yes.
Quite a lovely fantasy.
Should we introduce the girls?
We should, yes. The 6 romantic options.
All right. We're going to give them their name and their label because some of the names, the way we pronounce them, I think is going to be too similar to keep track of.
Yes.
Okay. So first there's Zhang. She is like the party girl. We refer to her as our bestie because she keeps popping up just to like help us out. She's a very like cool girl.
She has our back.
She's here for us.
What color hair?
Blonde. She's the only blonde.
Okay.
There's Zhao Lu. She's the younger looking one. She looks kind of cutesy. She's a student who's just recently graduated and she's very fiscally responsible.
And very sweet.
She's extremely sweet.
She's like the innocent option.
Yes. There's Shen, who is crazy, extremely possessive. Her family is very rich, and she is your childhood best friend. I don't even know if childhood best friend is correct. Childhood friendly acquaintance.
She seems to have been infatuated with you since childhood.
Childhood bully, we'll say.
Yeah.
And she follows you to the city and hunts you down and then forces you to be her slave. I don't like her. She's really terrifying.
She was scary.
Every time she was on screen, the look in her eyes, I was like, this is the look of a serial killer. So yeah, it's safe to say we didn't like her. There's Zhang. She's a CEO. She hasn't really lived life very much, but she finds you very attractive and she's ready to take you in as her kept man.
Yeah, she likes you because you put her in touch with her like fun side.
Yeah, you get her to have fun. There's Lee, who's the art girl. You are an artist and she's also into art. She's
shared interests.
One of the first girls you meet.
She's very buttoned up.
She's very buttoned up.
Very serious.
Very serious. Seeing her smile is a rare occurrence in this game. And then the last one.
You saved one of my favorite options for last.
I forgot about her. Is Lynn. She's a mom and she has a big personality.
Yeah.
And that's her main trait.
2 good reasons to date her.
Yeah. Her ex-husband is a boxer and during the course of the game, you fight him in the boxing ring. And you can win. which
You
is great.
can win.
Even though you're just useless, you've never boxed before.
So I'd say mechanically, Love Is All Around. It's a very bog standard dating sim where you get presented with decisions which will either win or lose you affection with the 6 romantic options you're pursuing. You can try to hard commit to one girl or hedge your bets, maybe play the field a little bit.
It's very traditional dating sim mechanics. The real grab of the game is that it's all live action acted. So it's a little strange.
Like Night Trap.
It's very funny sometimes.
I'd say none of this acting is quite exceptional, but it definitely it's campy. It veers into the so bad it's good territory.
I definitely think it's a very fun game to play.
I think it's shot pretty well. This wasn't a low budget production, I don't think.
No, I don't even think the acting is bad a lot of the time. I think the girls are doing a pretty good job sometimes. We forgot to mention the most important character in the game, which is our actual best friend Liu, who keeps cropping up just to help us out, cheer us up when we're down because we're millions of currency in debt. Help us out when the girls are being a problem. He's the best. I wish you could romance him.
He's a very good friend.
He's a very good friend. He tries to kiss us one time.
Yeah, and as you'd expect, each girl has their own dedicated ending, but the game, it branches enough, and there's enough decision tracking going on. There's a bunch of Easter egg endings and secrets to uncover, so you can spend some time exploring the more off the beaten path side diversions you can go down. As far as navigating through the game, I'd say its ease of use, its quality of life is pretty good. As you replay segments, there's a skip button, so you can go right to the decision. And as you're replaying for different outcomes, you can go right to the meat and make decisions most of the time. I'd say it gets 90% of the way there for being very user-friendly. Occasionally, I think the biggest complaint I have is that sometimes identical scenes will play out on a different branch of the timeline, and even though you've seen them before, the game will not allow you to skip them because it's technically happening at a different time. The most egregious example of this to me was trying to get the Art Girls ending, which can be achieved in 5 different ways. And yet, when I was pursuing the See All the Endings achievement, I had to watch the ending in its entirety 5 different times, even though it was identical.
The Art Girl Lee's ending, it's not obvious how to get it. So
Right.
I'd be surprised if you managed to get it without Googling it.
I would too, yeah.
The challenge is yours, Janice.
But to be fair, no offense to Lee, I don't think she's in the top contention for who you'd want anyway.
Well, we know that for a fact because there's a leaderboard in this game.
Yeah.
Where as a side diversion, you can, as you play the game more and more, you accrue an in-game currency of teddy bears, which you can contribute for your own personal favorite characters in the total popularity contest leaderboard the game has at the main menu. Samantha and we had accrued about 100 teddy bears.
And if you are a Love Is All Around player and you saw that Shen's dad ranking increased,
Yeah, Boss Shen.
that was thanks to us.
We contributed enough teddy bears to get him from rank 17 to 16, I want to say.
We're pulling for him.
Wait, 17. How many girls are there?
There's only 6 girls in the base game, but you can rank literally every single person you
Any
interact
character
with.
who appears on screen is in the leaderboard.
Oh, even the bus driver?
Yes.
You're right.
And Shen's dad appears only in her ending, only for a little bit, but he's
Right.
great. Yeah, we were we gotta help him out.
As far as mechanical challenge this game provides, it's divided up into 6 main chapters. It will roadblock your progress unless you clear a certain overall affection threshold. So there were times where Samantha and I would finish a chapter, realize we weren't popular enough with the ladies yet, and we'd have to double back and try to make wiser decisions to unlock the next chapter. I don't know if I loved that. I feel like it just broke up our flow.
So what this means is, let's say you're crazy and you really like Shen. Shen isn't in all the chapters. I say most of the girls aren't in every chapter. If you're just trying to please her and you're kind of dismissing everyone else, you will be progress blocked. You need to be pleasing the girls as a whole. Just focusing on one girl isn't going to be enough to get you over the threshold.
That is very Tokimeki Memorial.
Okay, the first dating simulator.
If you pursue just your one favorite, the other girls, feeling either dejected or jealous, will bomb you.
Oh.
As it appears in the little leaderboards in your journal, a flashing bomb, which is akin to spreading gossip about you, which will decrease the affection towards you across the whole school.
That's no good. Yeah, Shen might bomb us, but everyone else seemed pretty balanced and normal.
Yeah, well adjusted.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
The combat.
Right.
If you miss a punch, does it seamlessly end with you like getting hit first person or what?
Yeah, you take hits in the first person.
Is there a health bar on screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
It's very Street Fighter-esque, but it's first person. So that's...
Which is to say not Street Fighter?
Well, I was thinking like the other forms of the layout, like the 2 health bars and like the KO, stuff like that.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. And then my second question is, when the girls go in for a kiss, do they like fish face the lens or do they go to the side of the camera?
Go to the side. Also, I think we only ever got kissed one time.
There were fewer first-person kisses than you would expect.
Probably because of the issue you just described, where there's not an elegant way to do it. Who kissed us? Who was it?
I want to say it was in the DLC.
It might have been.
Which brings us to, we played this game's add-on content, Love is in the Room.
Are you calling this the Love Is franchise?
I think so. I believe there is a full-blown sequel already out.
It's called Love is in the Room because they're all roommates and you move in with them.
You move to a new city. You're still playing as the same protagonist.
I read this on Reddit.
There are 3 new love options. I'd say it's about...
3?
Yeah.
That's $3 per love interest.
Right.
With this ongoing sale that I'm looking at.
Or $1 per love interest about.
What are you talking? This DLC's like $10.
No, I think its full price is $5.
It's a 30% off sale. Oh, bundle. I'm looking at the bundle.
Oh, bundle.
There
okay.
you go.
I think on Steam, if you look at the reviews for this DLC, they're pretty mixed. That's partially because when it launched, there was no English translation. So people bought this and like, I can't understand anything the girls are saying to me.
And some of it still lacks an English translation.
Only some text parts.
Yeah, there's a part where you're looking through the apartment and looking at the sticky notes the girls have left you. And if you can't read Chinese script, I don't know if it's
this is all Chinese to me.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what the girls are saying.
But there are subtitles now for all the spoken dialogue.
So let's introduce the 3 new girls.
Right.
There's Chen Sai. She's like a badass motorcycle rider girl and wears a leather jacket.
Samantha's favorite.
I loved her. I was ready to get down on one knee for her the minute we met her. And then she's a preschool teacher. That's her whole deal. The second girl is, I'm going to get this wrong, Xia. She's a famous tennis player, but she's been losing lately. That's about all she's got going on for her. The last girl is Yan. She was your former high school monitor and valedictorian. She tutored you in high school and then you guys were separated for 10 years because you went your separate ways or whatever. And you guys reunite and she's the person you know when you're visiting town. And she's really smart. She's getting her PhD.
Right.
So.
And yeah, it's more of the same. It's basically, instead of having broken up into a chapter structure, it's just like one really long chapter. And
Lou is there as well.
Your best friend shows up. There's a love triangle component.
Yeah.
If you liked the base game, there's no reason not to play more, I suppose.
And if you're playing the same guy in both, how do they address the fact that you maybe already have a wife or girlfriend?
Right.
They don't. They just don't even acknowledge it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just talk to the pretty ladies. Chris, who were your favorite ladies from both?
I liked...
Bro, careful.
No, I already know.
I liked our frugal girl in the base game.
Yes.
I think she ultimately is the best choice, although the single mom has a lot of appeal as well.
Yeah, she's got 2 appealing features. Okay, but would you marry her? She's such a nag.
She kind of turns on a dime once she locks you in.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, can you do all of my household chores? Why are you mad at me? Get to work.
And then, to my surprise, your childhood high school monitor PhD student in the DLC, she really grew on me after seeing her.
He's just saying that because he knows who I am. The truth is, he liked the tennis girl at first sight because she's also got 2 great things going for her.
All right, I'm going to steer this back. I've seen a sailor outfit in the trailer. Is there a maid outfit?
No.
What are these outfits? They're all like contemporary?
I've seen a cat outfit, and then there was one girl who wore like a slip, lingerie-esque slip kind of dress.
Whoa.
That was the raciest it got, I think. Yeah, it's pretty tame. Chris, what about you?
Yeah, it's pretty tame. What about me?
Oh, I guess there was the well-endowed woman wears like a yoga outfit at one point, and I feel like that's pretty exciting. Chris, you answer this. I won't get you in trouble.
I'll sub you, bro. You've gotten all the achievements so far, right?
Working on the DLC.
There's more work to be done.
Yeah. We were working on it this morning, actually.
Yeah.
That's why we postponed.
Partially.
Trying to get Lou to hang out with us on New Year's. It's impossible.
Bro, I'm so sorry. I know we said 1:30, but Xiao Chen is about to eat this. We're mid spaghetti. We got to meet in the center.
I will say, even though there are subtitles in every scene, there are occasionally scenes where I'm wondering if something is lost in translation. Like, I'm very confused when we were feeding, like, the food critic guy.
He's not a food critic.
No,
he's
he was
an actor. He came, so he's shooting later that day in our restaurant. He comes before to, like, show off and flirt with our manager and eat our food, but yet he hates everything we bring him. If you feed him all of the wrong choices, you can make him have digestive issues and go throw up. Why was that in the plot? No reason. It's not related to like anything. It's just for fun.
Yeah, there are. I like the goofy, fun options that are present.
Yeah, it makes the game super fun. It's just like no girls were involved.
In conclusion, I don't actually recommend most people buy this game.
Why not?
It was gifted to me. It was saved by playing it with my girlfriend and laughing at it during the Valentine's Day season. Otherwise, I would have no interest in it. Nothing about the plot really kept me on my toes. The girls, while they have, easily identifiable personalities and they stand out apart from one another, they don't really go through any kind of an arc per se.
I disagree with Chris only because I like playing and watching like really bad movies where I'm like, oh, this is so stupid. I'm having so much fun. If you are an enjoyer like that, you're going to like this game.
And it's fairly priced. It's pretty inexpensive on Steam.
Yeah.
I think at full price, the game is $10.
Because like a normal dating simulator, like when things are cringe, it's like, it's just cringe, It's just like, it's all animated. So it's not, you can't like see a human being having to say these lines to you, having to look a camera in the eye and then like say these like awkward things that like a human would never do. When it's animated, it's just like, oh, well, whatever. I believe it, I guess. But when like Zhao is looking across from you because she's texted you, hey, if you stay and live with me, I'll pay your rent. And then you say, okay. And then she gets a big heart because she loves that she gets to pay your rent. It's so funny. Great game, I think.
The live action video component did contribute to it. I think the gimmick worked.
Yeah, it totally worked.
And that's more than any other video game podcast has ever said about the game Love Is All Around.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like we talked about it too long, but it's really funny.
Yeah, so I think Samantha recommends it, and I'm more mixed on it. Thanks, Janice. We played it eventually.
Thanks, Janice.
Thanks, Janice.
What's left in the What We've Been Playing segment? Heath, do you have anything else?
Yeah, but I'll save it.
Save it for a future episode?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I guess I only have one more thing, and it's not very long. I'll just tie the bow on. I finished up the Dishonored DLC. That's both the Knife of Dunwall and the Brigmore Witches. These are the extra levels added to the first Dishonored more than a decade ago. This is very old content. But I returned to it. I thoroughly enjoyed it so much that I played through both of these DLCs twice. Did the high chaos playthrough and the low chaos.
Now there's an ending you'll watch in full just for nostalgia.
Yeah, it was nostalgic for me. I mean, it's no secret Dishonored is one of my favorite games. It comes up. But I will emphasize just some smart design trends that I think still hold up so well in the game. The fact that if you are playing in a very loud, guns out, violent way, the game puts you on the high chaos playthrough. Or if you're much more secretive and stealthy and non-lethal, you're in the low chaos playthrough. And that's very smart because it changes the levels themselves and the quantity of enemies present, even elements of like which security systems are active, how many rats are present in the sewers. And if you're playing very loud and violent, there's lots of lethal tools in Dishonored that you only get to take advantage of when you're killing people. And so what would balance the levels more properly? Introduce more enemies, right? Because if you're taking advantage of summoning rats and summoning assassins to do your bidding, and if the levels are sparsely populated, you're going to breeze through them in no time. So of course the game should like adapt and adjust itself to give you a greater challenge. Where if you are having this like self-imposed constraint of not killing anyone and never being seen, trying to do a ghost playthrough, the levels kind of self-balance themselves. And there are fewer guards patrolling and things like that. So that the game is kind of like an adapting organism to how you choose to play. Very smart. I love that design tenet they used. This game came out in 2012. It's more than a decade old. I am so impressed with how well the art style holds up and just hasn't aged that much. I know it doesn't look like a brand new modern game, obviously, but the more stylized, painterly art direction they took with Dishonored has given its visual appeal much more longevity than something more hyper-real might have looked otherwise. The last time Dishonored came up in a big way was back in 2020 when Heath and I were playing it side by side with each other. And I did an all-stealth run back then. This time, after playing through the DLC both ways, it's been the first time in a long time I did like a very violent, loud playthrough. And I was pleasantly reminded how tough combat is in Dishonored. Like, I can deal with a one-on-one sword fight, no problem. 2 enemies fighting me, it's going to be a little dicey, but I'll probably get through it. But as soon as you're fighting more than 2 foes at once, it is a real slugfest. You're like barely getting through by the skin of your teeth. Just the sheer difficulty of the combat in Dishonored, I feel like goes a long way of incentivizing some level of stealth in your approach, which you want in a stealth game. So I would, even if I'm planning on going loud and proud, I'll at least try to pick off a couple cursory foes from the shadows before I make myself known.
Chris, if you kill everyone but you do it like stealthily, is that still a high chaos playthrough?
I think that would be qualified as high chaos.
Okay, because I love the stealth in this game. It's the reason I play it. I don't want to play a combat game.
Sure.
If I do a high chaos one, I just want to do it again. Instead of I choke them out, I just stab them.
Right. Then I think you'll still be considered high chaos.
Okay.
Especially if you chuck a grenade once in a while and run away.
Is this a prequel?
The DLCs take place concurrently with the base game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, what's Dowd up to when
What's
Corvo's
Dowd up
busy?
to?
Yeah.
But you killed out in that game.
Eventually.
Well, you get the choice.
I don't do it.
Well, you can or you can spare him.
Oh.
But you don't kill or spare Dowd until like mission 7.
That's late game.
Yeah, it's like later in the game. So there's time for Dowd to be doing stuff.
And I'll just say that the last level of the Brigmore Witches, so the final piece of DLC in this game, I think it's a standout level. It's one of the best the original Dishonored had to offer. You're kind of infiltrating this dilapidated mansion and the surrounding grounds, and there's a bunch of new enemy types that really keep you on your toes.
Yeah, witches.
Yeah, witches. And their movements are very hard to predict, and they can kind of catch you off guard. There's another type of enemy, like this kind of spectral hound that is difficult to dispatch quietly. And it really, since presumably you're finishing the Brigmore Witches, you probably played the base game, you played all this DLC, you're ready for a real challenge. It provided it, and it really kept me a veteran, kind of like guessing and sweating. And I also really enjoyed, I did play it and complete it twice. I kind of eased myself into it doing the high chaos run first. So I got the lay of the land, figured out where all my objectives were, figured out some of the secret passages in Arcane's excellent level design. And then when I returned for my second approach, trying to go through without ever being detected, not killing a soul, I really admired how much information gave me an advantage. Just kind of knowing where the key parts of the level were, I was able to very surgically get through this otherwise hard level, undetected, and kind of do it without too much of breaking a sweat. Having environmental awareness in an Arcane game goes so far in helping you clear the level. I love the potency of knowledge in this game. And that's all I have to say about this return visit to Dishonored. I look forward to hearing Samantha's thoughts when she finishes it.
I'm sorry, I've been slacking on games.
That's okay. I haven't played very much either.
I'm in my Heath era.
Heath didn't like the sound of that.
We didn't.
All right. You know what?
Oh, we talked him into talking about it.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
There we go.
I'm playing Nier Automata on
No,
my
you're
Switch.
not.
What?
Let's go.
He didn't even boot it up on Steam, so we could keep it a secret.
So the game starts with Ikaruga, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be her swinging the thing.
I did not see this
and
coming.
then all of your buddies die off because the big laser, but you have plot armor. And then as I'm flying and I'm shooting the black ships and I'm dodging the white blobs, I think, I get to level 2 mid-flight because I'm so good. But then I get to the combat tutorial and like these little robots start beating my ass. And I see in the corner, small recoveries remaining 14.
Yeah.
And I think, oh no, I'm trash. I'm desperately trying not to die for reasons you mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm pressing all these combat buttons. And then a big orange pop-up that says you do not have the authority to perform that command. It obscures the little robot I'm trying to fighting, and I'm like, wow, this is just like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where like the big UI blocks the whole point of the game. I shoot the first boss to death. I kill the remaining robots, and everyone just keeps dropping WD-40, and I collect it, not knowing what I'm going to use it for, but still. I would like to know what happens when you run out of the small recovery items, and then I found out you start using medium recovery items.
You can run out of everything, I think. That
Oh,
that
yeah,
is a
definitely.
limited resource.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's like a healing potion.
That Heath, that level was so hard for me. I beat it in one go, but it was by the skin of my teeth. I feel.
I didn't figure out how locking on works until midway through the buzzsaw.
Yeah, I don't. That's still tricky.
Why would you ever not always be shooting? Always be shooting.
Always be shooting. Yeah, for sure.
And then these dumbasses who just swing their arms and I just keep eating every hit.
Yeah.
So black box reaction? Why don't we just drop a bunch of black boxes on these motherfuckers?
because it triggers a huge explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of them. We're here to kill bots, right?
There's no one else around.
Turning on your self-destruct.
From the menu.
And then he's like, great, let's proceed. And then he turned that shit back off. And he's like, you thought you would, but you need to have that self-destruct on. Rules are rules. And I'm like,
I did the
no,
same
I'm gonna
thing.
leave it off. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be relevant. Chests wrapped in chains. Oh yeah, I keep kicking these loot crates and getting more WD-40, but some of them are wrapped in chains. I'm a god-killing hot anime girl that can slice a Goliath, but these chains are keeping me from opening this box.
That does seem a bit far-fetched.
Okay. All right, whatever. I save at the nearest vending machine. I was one button press away from selling my OS chip. That must be intentional.
Yeah, that's a crucial piece of software, probably.
Yeah,
Hardware.
but like the actual arranging it. What's
Oh.
his name? Yoko Taro. He must have put that so that you could accidentally do it if
Accidentally
you're going
do
too
it.
fast. I did a little bit of fishing.
Yeah.
That's how I was able to afford 48 for 48 chips.
Yeah.
I spec'd into range defense and either melee strength or melee defense.
Did your little sidekick guy, you can like select what sort of combat reaction he has. So if you want to
Sidekick
spec
boy.
into range, sidekick boy, you can spec into range and then you can make him the close combat guy. So you can sit in the back while he fights the guys and you just shoot
You're
him.
talking about 9S.
9S. Yeah, sorry, I haven't played this game in like 2 weeks.
I've never told Lydia to do much in Skyrim.
Okay.
She was a walking storage unit.
She really is.
I never told her to focus on separating the enemy. Like combat is whatever. So
Okay.
you say that. I've clicked on 9S accidentally like 4 times trying to open a chest at my feet.
Okay.
This suffers from Animal Crossing and you keep missing because
Yes.
the rotation axis is off. I may dabble with 9S if I'm failing constantly. I did have
Okay.
one death so far.
Yeah.
I typed my little comment and then I sprinted to get my body because this thing has the same sort of Death Stranding. You got to get your body.
I
Yeah,
haven't
Dark
died
Souls.
as well, okay. Hear me out because I haven't died as
You playing on easy?
2B?
2B, like as her physical person, but the second flying segment when you're flying to the area where you can fish, I died like so many times. I was getting so frustrated. I couldn't do it. It was so hard. The flying combat in this game is so hard for me.
Have you disabled any of your UI elements, Heath?
Not yet.
Okay.
Just because the the +8 chip capacity was so affordable.
Sure.
I walked to the desert. I'm now in the city ruins.
Okay.
Oh, I sold my auto chips.
Oh, okay.
You know the plug-in easy mode?
Right.
things?
It'll just fight for you, basically.
Yeah.
So I sold them.
Committal.
Because you don't need that. Yeah.
Maybe I'll sell
you can
mine.
You can buy them again for like 1,000 times the cost.
Damn.
But it's 500 divided by 8. You figure it out if you were at home. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. This is my favorite Square Enix game. It's probably the only Square Enix game I've ever played.
So this is prompted by you heard Samantha was playing.
We gotta talk shop when she beats it.
Okay, Heath, now you forced me to go back to it.
You gotta get good at
Yes.
shooting.
Okay.
Go
Maybe
easy
I
mode.
won't sell my auto
Just go
chips.
easy mode, yeah.
So did you just buy a Switch copy?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
Committed.
Well, because I don't have a system to play it on otherwise.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
The PC is missing in action.
Yeah, I buried that thing.
So-
and then I salt burned the grave. Neither of you get that reference.
I maybe
That's right.
I'll wait to say this. We can cut this out if we need to. Heath, have you met like the group of people who are living in the city?
The Resistance members, yes.
Okay. Have you made it past them? Like you talk to them, they ask you to do like a couple little side quests,
Yeah.
and then they send you somewhere else probably. I haven't been sent somewhere else yet. I'm still hanging out with them.
They send you to the desert. I'm in the desert.
Okay. I have not gotten to the
And
desert
they're all
yet.
like, oh, you better stock up on supplies because there's nothing in the outside world or whatever. And I was like, I'm rocking 48 of 48 chips. I don't need your whatever. And then there's another merchant just standing outside of the desert.
Really?
And he's selling counter chips where if you perfectly time with an enemy's attack, you get whatever. And then there's like a stagger-proof one if your health's above 80%. And I was like, this game is going places. So I'll have to consider that.
Interesting.
Have you met Jackass?
Yes.
Sweet.
She stood on a rock and observed an explosion with me.
Yeah.
That's a
Classic Jackass moment right
I mean,
there.
I'm more familiar with the upgrade lady than I am her
Right.
as of now.
Makes sense.
And that's Nier Automata.
Oh my goodness.
Christmas came early this year. I did not see this coming.
I'm glad you mentioned it because now I have homework for next time.
Yes, have them fight. See who will finish it first.
No, I just want to be able to talk about it with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Whichever of us finishes it first is going to have like markedly worse grades. Because
I just won't get my degree.
I'm not going to finish ending G before the end of the semester.
Oh, thank God.
So it's going to be a drip feed. He's going to be languishing.
Yeah.
It'll be the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't have the capacity to do a lot right now anyway. So
All right. Well, I think that's everything we've been playing. So why don't we take a break and we'll come back with some news among other segments. See you then.
Heath, you're telling
My
me
dad is Miyazaki. What?
You're telling me you didn't think the combat was hard? I guess it's less hard when you're in an open field
mean,
and there's like the three little guys.
I died to a level 5 smasher basher
Okay. Yeah, I think it's hard.
just because I mistimed a jump. All these guys are just Batman Arkham. As soon as they see him swinging, just hit the A button as many times as it feels necessary. And then she flips. You land over.
I didn't have dodge mechanic when I played.
Do you know how to perform a dodge?
They hid the dodge mechanic, Chris. I'm telling you.
Oh, it's the dash, though.
Yeah.
Just like when the buzzsaw starts coming really fast, you have to dash.
I got hit by the buzzsaw, I think, every time because they never taught me how to dodge. I didn't know you could.
The guy's like, I'm going to put it right here.
And I was just running as fast as I could, but then he like moves. So yeah, you're like, I don't know, get good. And I'm trying. But Chris gave me a controller, so it should be better now instead of playing on the keyboard, which is horrible.
I'm doing raw Joy-Cons
Oh, okay.
for my controller setup. The ideal way to play.
Oh my god.
You can be so ergonomic. Your hands could be anywhere.
They audio listener need all right, and we're back.
And we're back.
Oh man.
Heath, you said you had a news segment for us.
Chris, I was feeling myself with that Mario Kart 9 win.
Oh my God.
I bet.
So I was cruising, right?
Yeah.
Mario Kart.
Your decision was immediately validated.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm feeling so good, I might buy a bunch of stock of Nvidia. So I just put all my
No,
money
you
there.
didn't.
And we're just going to rock this streak, baby.
You
what's
did
wrong?
not. Nvidia had an awful day in the stock market.
No.
They lost like 600 billion of their market cap or something.
Huh? Folks, if you, now's the time to buy Nvidia stock,
Buy the dip,
right? Because as soon as they announce the 5090.
which is out, I believe.
What?
Yeah, I think it launched like yesterday.
Oh, this was calculated. Okay.
No, the dip was
You're
due to, I
lying.
think, some sort of Chinese AI.
Yeah,
God, it's out
it's
now.
really good, and it doesn't run using Nvidia's best chips. I think it runs using. How it works is the U.S. is like Nvidia. You can't send China the best stuff. You need to keep the best stuff for us so we can develop better things. And so China's getting the crappy chips, and they still develops like a better AI
Right.
using poorer materials.
So
So Nvidia's stock sank. That's what I know.
China's like, Nvidia, we don't even need you anymore.
Yes.
And yeah, the 5000 series GPUs are hitting store shelves now.
I'm just discovering this. What a jump that would be, going from my 1080 Ti
Aha.
to if this show ever takes off, audio listener, I'm going to get a 5090, and then Chris will be like, oh man,
Envy. I'll be green with envy.
yeah, because green is the color. Yep, very good. What a professional.
I'll hop on this to coincide with the release of NVIDIA's new GPUs. They pushed some sort of like DLSS, that's their AI frame generation supplement that exists on some of their older GPUs as well, including the 4090 I have. Basically, what I'm saying is I was rewarded for my 1 month delay of playing Cyberpunk 2077, because when I booted it up yesterday, an update had come out for the game and my GPU, and now I'm getting like markedly better performance than I was in December.
Maxing out his frame rate.
Yeah, maxing out my frame rate on my monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just you never know when the performance of the game you're playing will markedly improve randomly 4 years after the game came out. So that was a pleasant surprise. And that's it for the news. A little bit slower.
Oh wait. I mean, did we talk about how Jeff Keighley? Okay, sorry. The Switch 2.
Oh yeah, we should probably mention the Switch 2.
So the Switch 2
It now
was
exists.
announced. Yeah, what are your impressions of the Switch 2?
Well, I mean, we weren't given a lot to go on here. The trailer had very much the energy of Nintendo being like, all right, fine, leakers, we'll confirm it.
This is what we should have done with the Wii. Just a Wii 2.
Oh, yes.
You know how many hotcakes
Okay,
that would have sold?
But the Switch would not exist without the Wii U. You know, they had to get that out there so they could perfect it. You know, I'm glad for the Wii U.
Oh,
So we could have the Switch.
the lead paint allowed us so that we could get
The
acrylic. It's
Wii
true.
the Wii U face planted so that the Switch could fly.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like they would have just made the Wii U later. They had the idea, it was just bad, and then they fixed it.
Sure, Sam. I'll say this. People want to get their hands on a Switch 2 to get it, the journalism industry. They're
We
all
still don't know when it's coming out exactly. No sooner
holiday this year.
No sooner than April 2nd, because that's when they're having their big proper announcement, I think.
Holiday this year at the latest.
Yeah, I think it's this year.
Some people suspect summer, but yeah, holiday at the latest.
We'll get a Switch 2 before we get GTA 6.
Yeah.
Have you
We'll
seen,
see.
Have you seen that meme template
No.
of like we got ripped Ralphie Fiennes before we got GTA 6? Just you don't know that actor, but he's ripped.
Okay.
That's Voldemort?
That's Voldemort.
Yeah.
Voldemort's shredded.
Oh.
Because he's playing Odysseus.
Oh.
that
He's
makes
just-
sense.
He's the most bronze, chiseled, but he's Voldemort. So it's
Sure.
great. So people want to get their hands on a Switch 2. How do you get your hands on a Switch 2? Nintendo is doing a lottery, a Willy Wonka style lottery.
Really?
Is your name Jeff Keighley? Are you like connected into the video games industry? Fuck you. Enter the lottery. Oh, you weren't lucky? no Switch 2 for you.
Send me info about this. I haven't heard about
He's got to
it.
vet me. Come on. Switch 2 lottery. I
More
can't tell if it's just
because-
because he wants to enter into it or if he's like, we got to assess this.
Chris
A little,
is a
little of
potential,
column A, a little of column B.
Yeah.
Def Keeley.
He's a potential
It's
entry.
the lottery is for entry into a Switch 2 experience
Yeah,
to try it out.
yeah.
It's not to purchase it.
No, sorry. Did I lead that?
You did
to
say
be
it was
believed?
Willy Wonka-esque, which does imply like they're going to experience
If
something.
you get the
Yeah.
golden ticket, you can
Okay,
play with.
so-
you can be Phil Spencer, and they won't let you.
It's a
get your
chance,
hands on.
chance to try it out before it comes out.
You know, I love that Nintendo seems to not care what like the video game industry thinks of them. They just do what they want to do.
Beat to their own drum.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Sucks for Jeff though.
Was anyone surprised by the name Switch 2?
I mean, I was disappointed.
I mean,
I was a little because they've never used a number in a console title ever before.
no. Hey, after this, you want to go play Super Mario 64?
Okay. Why do you ask?
Yeah, that's not a counterpoint. That's not a console.
Sorry, did you say they never used a number in a console before?
All right.
Oh,
It's the Nintendo 64
good job, Heath.
is not the 64th console.
Clap,
Nom, 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 nom.
claps. Yeah, but his point stands.
It's because it's 64-bit.
Audio
Well,
listener, the
it-
pregnant pause made it so much better. It's 64-bit.
Yeah.
Games were 32 before the Nintendo 64.
Oh
Right.
God.
I don't
And
know
then
if that's true.
16. Maybe.
I mean, I wish it was more creative, right?
Me too.
This is the naming convention that they did for like the DS, where it's just alphabet soup, and there was like an I, and then an XL, and then a 3, and then a 2,
Don't
Right.
forget the light.
and then, I forgot.
And a 3D.
Because so many members of the handheld department at Nintendo worked on the Switch. They were like, when you have a sequel, you just put a number on it, maybe a letter. So that's all this is. They're all the cool console types that came up with the GameCube and the Wii. They're dinosaurs. They've been replaced by the handheld department. This is all speculation.
I hope that they don't stop innovating on their consoles because they were the only ones left doing that. And I'd be sad if they just continued to make Nintendo Switch 80 for the rest of their life, you know?
I'm kind of curious what they do with the heavily rumored Joy-Cons function as computer mice.
What?
Yeah, on the Switch 2, there's like an optical sensor, and in the reveal trailer, they heavily imply via the smooth flowing motion of the new Joy-Cons that it'll be able to like glide on a surface and use it as a mouse. That could be.
Aren't there triggers on that thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think are the new Joy-Cons like flatter? Or is like the part that like kind of sticks out is not the mouse part?
I believe the optical sensor will be on the side of the Joy-Con that attaches to the Switch.
Oh, okay.
Say that again. What attaches to the Switch?
Joy-Cons like this, it'll be like this.
Oh.
So it's a really thin mouse.
Audio
Thin
listener,
mouse.
we're demoing the least ergonomic thing I can imagine in my
The
hand.
flattest, the thinnest mouse you've ever seen.
They'll just make like, you know how you're saying your plastic thing you put the Joy-Cons in to
Yeah.
play?
Yeah.
They'll just make that, but you can put your Joy-Con in sideways.
Okay.
This mouse is starving.
It's so skinny.
This is so skinny.
Oh my God.
Folks, don't worry. When you develop carpal tunnel from trying to use your Joy-Con as a computer mouse, your hands will be in the right position to be an enemy type in Metroid Prime 4 coming to this console, maybe.
Yeah, you won't even need a new PC for Civ 7. Just play it on the Switch 2 with that mouse support.
And zoom out on the globe as every city and structure you've built turns into a pixelated mess. There's
Could
no
be.
shot that the Switch 2 could run Civ 7.
I think it's coming to it.
Yeah, the same way that me playing Frostpunk 2 on my Mac turned all the crisp snow into blurry snow. I don't
Right.
know, well, whatever.
Right.
And that's the news.
And that's the new Switch. Samantha, you have a new challenge for us for Video Game 20 Questions.
I sure do.
You've been sitting on a game for months, actually.
So
that
Chris
you've
and
been-
I, when we go on walks together, we play our own little video game 20 questions, just the two of us.
Sometimes.
And I thought of this one like way early on. And I was like, Oh, I can't waste this on a Chris and Samantha.
Yeah, I'm
walk.
not worth it.
It's too good. So I think this one will be.
It needs to be the audio listener deserves.
I think it'll be pretty tricky for you guys to get, but you have mentioned it at least once on the podcast, so I know you guys know this game exists.
Pepsi Man.
It's not Pepsi Man. That's what Chris said. I said that exact same thing to him, and he was like, "So it's Pepsi Man."
Two peas in a pod.
So y'all are on the same wavelength, but that's not it.
Excellent. Wow.
I'll go ahead and be nice and say that one's not it. So yeah, go ahead, get started. Who wants to start the question?
We have to keep our pristine record. We've never lost while recording.
And how could we? Like we know so many games.
We know so many games.
We'll see.
I'm going to ask if this game released after the year 2013.
No.
All right, it's 2013 or earlier. Over to you, Heath.
Over to Heath. Yep. Okay. I just lame it out. Samantha, did this game release before 2005?
No.
Okay, so it's 2005 up to 2013. We have an 8-year window.
You're welcome.
And for one more, I'll just cut it in half. So Samantha, did this game release in 2009 or later?
No.
Okay. That's probably a good enough window to work with. That's 2005 to 2008 is the release window. So we're looking at
God of War.
We're looking at the early Xbox 360, PS3, Wii, but also the late PlayStation 2.
Do you spend the majority of this game playing as a third-person character?
No.
Okay.
Okay, no third-person character.
Or at least not the majority.
At least not the majority. Would this game fall into any of these genres? A puzzle game, a shooter, an RPG, or a fighting game?
No. I also, if people want to dispute me on the genre later, I got the genre from Wikipedia, so go take it up with them.
All right.
Don't read into
So
that.
no RPGs.
Yeah,
no
I'm just saying that because that's what Chris gets at me the most for, is if I mis-genreify something, and I'm like, well, that's what Wikipedia said, Chris.
So what she's getting at is this is a horror game at its core, but it could be like an action adventure.
Action adventure, the most nothing genre that ever was. Go ahead, Heath. We're
How
at
many
5 questions.
Okay, not too bad.
Sorry for the audio listener. Like what
I
remains?
eliminated puzzles, RPGs, shooters, and fighting games. And you eliminated third-person perspective.
Which leaves,
I guess,
He eliminated mostly third-person perspective.
that mostly is going to do us in
yeah.
Just want to clarify.
because it's an even 50-50.
Okay, Samantha.
What game has even 50?
I mean, Skyrim if you're deliberate, right?
Oh, God, I guess.
Samantha, does the player control a non-human character mostly for the most of the game? Is it a non-human player character? If I mean, you can play as multiple characters, but the most of the time you're playing as not a human. You're controlling not a human.
You're asking if you mostly play as a non-human character.
The yes or no question is, for most of the game, the character you control, are they characters you may or may not control, are they a non-human?
I want to say no. I'm going to double check that I'm correct, but I think the answer is no.
I'm trying to eliminate like Ninja Turtles and stuff. Like Crash Bandicoot. Well, that would be third person. So what are we left? We're left with like first person games, isometrics, beat 'em ups
Top
still
down.
considered fighting games. But maybe like just
2D.
vehicles and mechs. I guess a mech would still be a human if you're playing as the pilot.
Right. Unless it's autonomous.
This is a question no one has asked before about
interesting. I mean, so we can read into her delay of an answer, meaning it's not immediately apparent who you're playing as, I guess.
Right. It's no Max Payne.
You're not Nathan Drake, obviously.
Right. Or you are, but you're piloting something.
You know what, Heath? I'm willing to rescind the question because
Wow.
I don't think I can answer it.
Okay,
Back to Heath.
that's a freebie. So we didn't burn a question, and yet we know who we play as is kind of ambiguous.
Okay, so maybe your answer is like inconclusive, and that's we'll just have to deal with that.
Okay, yeah, I guess
back
if
to you
you're
now.
deducing information, I will penalize you for the question.
Yeah.
Sorry, so we used the sixth
cost
question.
We've spent it.
Damn. All right.
This game is so much. Damn, she's thinking of this during her walk, and she's like, the most heaviest just World Series of questions.
All right.
Or whatever.
Here's a question.
You think you're doing better than you are right now. What's the question?
Oh, no. Oh,
she's
the call
trash
out.
talking us.
Oh, damn. Dude,
I feel like if you can't answer Heath's question, it should not count against us.
I disagree.
I basically answered a separate question, which is about the point of view of this game. So I'm just going to say that's the question he asked, and that's the answer he received.
Here, my question is: is a primary mechanic in this game committing some form of violence?
What would you define as a primary mechanic?
Like fucking gardening, just the dirt, and then you fling out a.
As primary, do you mean it's what you're doing most often, or primary do you mean it's a mechanic you use often in the game?
A mechanic you use often in the game.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay, violence is at least somewhat regular.
So it's not Animal Crossing.
Right. It's not Tetris.
I don't know. Tom Nook committed some violence against me.
Against my bank account. Yeah, with the mortgage lending.
Yeah.
It's not The Sims.
Predatory loan schemes.
You got to help me with 2005. Like, give me a start and an end. So
you can commit violence in The Sims.
What? Since our current 2005 to 2008 window straddles the PS2 and the PS3 generation, maybe we should cut it in half again.
Hey, Samantha. Did this game come out before 2007?
Yes.
Okay, so it's an 05-06 game.
It's an 05-06 non-third person violent video game.
I'll go ahead and tell you guys, because I burned the question for it, that it is a first-person only game. So
wow. We didn't deserve that.
Yes, you did, because I burned the question and essentially told you that
okay.
information.
She thinks that we're not going to get it.
Okay, it's first person. There's violence.
06.
It's 05-06.
It's Sonic 06. I don't know.
I picked it in honor of Sonic 3.
But it's not an RPG, so it's not something like Oblivion. It's not a shooter.
It is a violent, non-shooter, non-fighter.
It's a first-person non-shooter game.
Well,
those don't exist.
Those are
those are just harder to come by, but they exist.
It's back to me, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's back to Chris.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, because I asked the 07 question.
Oh, okay.
Audio listener, Heath and Chris are sweating.
That's audio listener. Audio listener.
How many questions have we used?
You've used 8 questions so far.
Okay.
You're doing fine. I have confidence you can get it.
She tears us down and then she builds us back up again.
I don't like how stressed you're looking. It's making me nervous.
Okay. What to ask here?
Chris, you have so many great questions you always ask me.
All right. Here's a question.
Sorry, it's not a shooter, right? So what's the method of violence? It's punches. So it's Punch Out. No, she's wrecked. Okay, wait, no, that came out for the Wii. That was like a launch title for the Wii.
There's a Wii Punch-Out game.
But you sort of.
Okay, here's a question.
It's not perfectly first person.
Here's a question.
Hi.
When this game released, was it exclusive to a single platform?
Yes, when it released.
Yes. Okay, so it's some sort of exclusive.
Now it's
associated with one console. Now we should.
This is question 10, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In honor of question 10, I'm gonna go for the jugular.
But wait, if we guess a
What's his
game and
name?
we're wrong,
You can keep playing.
We can keep
I don't
playing.
think I think that's a silly rule.
Well, I guess I could just say, Samantha, do you play as Little Mac?
No.
Darn.
So Heath, you would have clearly been a human if that was the case.
Oh my God. We don't.
I don't approve of this line of
Little
questioning.
Mac. It cost us everything. Why don't you stop me?
All right, Samantha, is this game when it came out, was it exclusive to a PlayStation console?
No.
Okay, not on PlayStation. So it's probably Nintendo or Xbox.
Help me fill in because I know every Nintendo exclusive, but like Xbox would be I was about to say Infamous, but that's PlayStation.
That's
right?
PlayStation.
Thank you. Yes.
The threads I want to pull at are the method of violence, since we don't know it except it's not shooting.
It's punches.
I also want to pull at, it's not on PlayStation, but is it a Nintendo exclusive or an Xbox exclusive?
I need to write down non-human or what was the? I mean,
she couldn't answer.
right.
So you could be a human.
Because you could be a mech. Yeah.
But
okay.
whatever it is, it can't be obvious. Otherwise, she would have given us
Not
an answer.
explicit human player character. 2005, 2006. This is. I mean, help me gauge the era because I Need for Speed.
Do you guys want to narrow down what console it came out?
I mean, I mentioned that, but Heath has ignored my advice.
I see.
Oh my gosh. All right. Samantha, is this game exclusive to Nintendo?
No.
So it's an Xbox exclusive.
Unless it's a PC game. I guess.
Oh.
So I will ask Samantha, is this game exclusive to an Xbox console?
When you say is exclusive, do you mean now?
When it released.
It was exclusive to an
Okay.
Xbox console when it released.
It's an 05.
You're welcome for holding your hand to that question, because otherwise I would have just said no, and you would have been sad. She's shaking his head.
We already established its exclusivity was based only at release.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't change it later on.
Question 14?
Yes.
It's an Xbox. So when boom, I'm 10-year-old Heath. I walk into GameStop. I have an Xbox 360. I play Red Dead Redemption 1. I don't want to put any more time into Lost Planet. What other games came out in that time?
No Googling.
He's looking at his Nvidia stock.
So one complicating factor is that the Xbox 360 came out in 2005. So there's a world in which this is an original Xbox game. Is it worth burning a question to figure out if this is an Xbox or an Xbox 360 game?
No, because it's an Xbox 360 game. The catalog, I mean, well, what's a way we can ask that question that also rules out other things?
Was Viva Pinata an Xbox exclusive game?
It was isometric to start. It wasn't first person.
Okay.
Oh, but we ruled out third person.
No, she told us it is first person.
Because she's such a good host.
She's just a good host.
Isometric is like The Sims, right?
Yeah.
So if you're like holding a tool, it's a first person game.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
A tool like a bat to hit the pinata with. There's no pinata violence in Viva Pinata.
Someone hasn't played Viva Pinata.
I've never played that game.
No way.
Yeah, some of the pinatas eat the other pinatas.
Oh my god.
As food. It's food chain.
Yeah.
Great game.
Okay. So I know but that's the wrong era. I was going to say BioShock was exclusive to the Xbox for a while, but that came out in 2007, and it's probably a shooter.
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
That's a PlayStation franchise.
Damn, dude. I'm at such a...
Yeah, there aren't many
I sound
Xbox
like a Sony boy.
exclusives. I mean, Halo, but that's a shooter, obviously.
I just got to think of commercials.
Gears of War is not first person.
I got to think of commercials.
Forza is a racing game that you can maybe play from the first person.
It was among the genres you eliminated.
I never talked about racing.
Oh.
You talked about racing, but no one else did. Most racing games are third person.
Except for that one.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't... It would be really weird if Samantha labeled Forza as a first-person game. It's because it's a Skyrim example. You can do either. You don't have to play it in first person.
Also, I think if I'm playing a racing game, I'm pretty sure I'm a human
So you
being.
want a great look at the cup holders. I race home. I play.
Oh. I have an idea.
Fable.
I have an idea. That's also good, but I did say I eliminated RPGs.
Okay.
If you guys say something factually incorrect during like your brainstorming session, am I allowed, like if I buzz in and say one of the things you said isn't true, that I'm giving away what the game is.
So long as you're pretty certain we're not gonna get it.
I will
Wait.
withhold the information until I'm certain you guys are pretty doomed,
Heath,
and then I will correct you.
Are you willing to humor me and ask if it's based on a license?
No, I think that's an excellent question.
Okay.
Well, it's Heath's question right now.
Because that's how your brain works, is with like intellectual properties.
Right.
Hey, Samantha, does this game make use of a licensed property?
Not at the time, no.
Not at the time.
Oh, she's talking about how Mario Kart added Mercedes-Benzes afterward in DLC.
I was thinking what it might have been is a King Kong game.
I'll shorten my answer to no, if
Okay.
that'll help.
There's a first-person King Kong game from around that era that's kind of well.
Oh, like a city-destroying type of, yeah?
It was like surprisingly immersive sim-like.
This sounds awesome.
What? It's Chris's question, by the way.
Question
And it's
15?
Question 15.
Yikes.
Okay. Don't worry.
At question 18, I'll go ahead and tell you guys what you said incorrectly, and then you'll
Samantha,
immediately get it.
Did this game,
I need-
when it originally released, was it exclusive to the Xbox 360?
Yes.
Okay. Heath was correct. It's a 360 game.
Which is like Fable 2.
I think Fable 2 is too late, but Fable
No,
1.
I owned it.
But we've determined the game only came out in 05 or 06.
The early, and Fable 2 is a late
I think it's
stage.
08.
Okay. Damn, this is the era of Xbox that I couldn't give a fuck about because I was busy with my Nintendo Advanced SP.
I never mind. I'll say less.
No, this is tough.
Don't worry.
We're talking about the period of time where the Xbox 360 was out, but Sony has not quite responded with the PS3 yet. That like first year of its life. What exclusives did it have? It could have been like a launch game. We have such a narrow time period here.
And if it were a launch game, what was the most well-known launch game?
I have no idea.
What year did the 360 come out?
Late, like the holiday of 2005.
Okay.
So we're talking about the first year of its being on the market.
And a launch title is when it comes out at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
First day.
the day you buy it with the console.
Yeah.
Bro.
I knew that.
I was not paying attention to what Xbox at all during this period.
I needed to watch a Scott the Woz retrospective in preparation.
I told you this was a good one.
She's so good, dude.
And she's made it clear that it has landed on other pieces of hardware since then, which is interesting. So people cared to port it elsewhere. We don't really have a lot of time to go down this route, but it would be useful to know what the developer was, or maybe the setting.
God, what is the setting?
I mean, the developer was Bethesda. The developer was id. Like, how do you extrapolate that?
How do you narrow down the developer?
Fallout 3 was first person, but it was a shooter,
And it's the wrong time period.
and you're a human being. Oh wait, it would have been Fallout 2. That's isometric.
I know.
She's just
I'm having
Xbox
fun.
was briefly courting some like Japanese game exclusive during this time, but all the ones I can think of.
Oh my god, is it Eschatos? Oh my god,
I don't know what that game is.
it's my favorite Japanese-based Xbox exclusive shmup
Shoot 'em up.
with the amazing soundtrack.
Does it take place in first person?
No, it's top down.
Then it can't be that.
Wasn't shmup? Wouldn't that imply it's a shooter? Because it's just shoot 'em up.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Probably.
I appreciate your enthusiasm.
I want to say Lost Odyssey, but that's an RPG. At this point, maybe we ask about the method of violence. If it's not a shooter, what kind of violence are we doing from first person?
It's punching, dude. It's punching. Or swords. It's like Ninja Gaiden. It's the right time period, right?
Oh, first person.
I'm having so much fun.
That's
audio
a third.
listener.
Ninja Gaiden is
Yeah,
third person.
Yeah,
There's Mirror's Edge, but that's the wrong time period.
Oh, and there's violence because you're getting shot at, and you can shoot a gun, but it's not.
Okay.
But she doesn't.
I have a Hail Mary idea right now, which is
Hitman?
Arcane's game before Dishonored,
Karma Star.
but not that one. Yeah, well, it's called like Arx Fatalis or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Probably from you.
You're trying to play it cool because we're narrowing down
I'm
the
so
game.
cool.
Because that's a first-person game with no shooting. I think it's on Xbox 360. And it's like hand-to-hand.
Oh, God.
What's a good question that could get us closer to confirming Arx Fatalis, but wouldn't just be, is it Arx Fatalis?
Sorry. You asked a great question, but I guess it could be Omicron the Nomad Soul.
Though, what now?
That's David Cage's first game.
Oh, is it first person?
Yes. Well, the combat is.
Interesting.
And you possess multiple bodies because you're a soul. You literally just transport to different people.
Okay. Weird.
So that's human, right?
That's human.
Multiple humans are still human.
I don't know what you play as in Arx Fatalis.
Omicron maybe is not exclusive.
Samantha, is this game's setting?
It's not your turn.
It's my question.
Oh, my bad.
But what should I ask?
I was gonna ask if it had a fantasy style setting.
Assume the answer is yes. What is it? How does that benefit you?
It gets me closer to locking in Arx Fatalis is the answer.
Okay.
And then maybe we go down like a Fable route. I don't know. We're on thin ice.
Samantha, is this game set in a fantasy world?
Yes.
Interesting. How many questions do we have left?
You are at question 16. At question 19, I will reveal what the false information was, and then you guys will get it immediately. So there's no fear of losing.
Wow.
I will just tell you, I will give you one question to guess the game, which you will know to be correct at that point.
What do you mean by false information?
She means that
Someone said an incorrect fact during your discussions, and I believe it is leading you astray.
An incorrect, like we grabbed the wrong answer from something you said.
No,
okay.
As in you were discussing video games, and there was a false fact. And if you don't realize that information is not true, you will probably never guess it. So I'm going to give it to you after you've asked 19 questions and haven't gotten it.
Okay, what if we said that isn't what she's talking about? It is a 360 exclusive.
Right.
It came out 05 to 06.
Mm-hmm.
It's not third person. Is she making the thing about first person as opposed to like isometric?
We know it is first person.
You know it is we know it. Do we know that it's a shooter? No, because it could be like sword.
We know
or
it's
punch
not
out
a shooter.
Sorry. Yes.
We know you ambiguously play someone.
Maybe don't go on this path too long, because I think it's going to be really hard for you guys to weed out what the false fact was. You guys talked a lot, and I waited until you guys had said a lot before I revealed it.
Do you know who injected
savvy.
this false fact?
I will not reveal who it was. I will tell you later. You guys should try to find more information about the game right now.
It's a fantasy non-shooter on the Xbox.
I don't know a lot of fantasy
Right.
shooters.
First person. What's the first person fantasy world? I look around and I see Spyro. No, that's PlayStation.
Oh, I should have picked Spyro. That would have been funny.
I look at my first person camera pans the fantasy vista. There's like orcs and dragons because this game is the Shrek. No, because that's a licensed property.
Whose turn is it to ask a question?
Yours.
It's Chris's turn.
Samantha, is the developer of this game based in the USA?
Great question, Chris. We're gonna do a little research.
I mean, if the answer is no, that narrows it down to like what, French developers and Japanese?
Right. Yeah. If it's not based in the USA, it would be Europe or Japan or Canada, I guess.
Europe or Japan or Canada. Was Witcher 1 first person? No.
What was your question, Chris? Can you
Was the
repeat
developer
Based
based in the US?
No.
Okay. Cool.
What was Konami making?
I wasn't expecting the answer I got. That was crazy.
Arx Fatalis still potentially on the table because Arcane is French.
Yeah. Well, let's finish that line of thinking.
I don't know how.
What do you fight with?
I'm not exactly sure. We could ask if the developer is based in Europe. European.
You're at 17 questions. This will be 18.
Is Arx Fatalis a stealth game?
I'm not 100% sure.
Whoa. All right. Hey, behind the scenes, Samantha. Have I heard of this game?
Yes.
That it's not Arx Fatalis.
Oh.
I wouldn't pick a game that both of you hadn't heard about because I feel like that would be mean.
Heath may have heard the name in passing.
Okay.
You said it could have been a game I just like name dropped on the podcast.
It's no endless ocean.
And Heath moved on.
I suppose that is true, but if you name drop it on the podcast and Heath goes, huh?
And Heath goes, look at that shiny thing.
I don't really count that as you guys both knowing what the game is.
Okay. All right, we're circling the drain here.
You're going to get the answer spoon-fed to you in 2 questions.
Eastern Europe loves fantasy settings. This we know.
Yes. Should we just get on with it so that she feeds it to us?
Ask me the question that you think we ought to.
Oh, okay.
Or pitch the question because it's my turn, right?
Yes.
Right. You can ask if it was either. You can ask if its developer was from Europe or from Japan, whatever you prefer. It's not based on an intellectual property.
Well, we know you're not piloting you're not in a ship or a mech because it's fantasy.
Sure.
So you're not a guy in a metal suit like Fallout or whatever.
I mean, knights were famously in metal suits. Got him.
But Heath's looking at like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, and I'm like, look at this sci-fi.
Oh God.
Where'd they get these?
Their technology is so advanced.
Yeah. Anachronistic. That's the word.
Is Morrowind first person?
Yes.
I want to play Morrowind.
That's the right time period.
It is. I mean, it's solidly an RPG, though. Right?
Yeah.
Which we eliminated. This game is not an RPG.
Good.
Chris is so tense.
Swords.
He's grumpy.
Magic. There's violence.
There's violence, but not shooting. I wonder what percentage of the listeners are screaming because they know the answer.
The percentage of the listeners who correctly identified who said the wrong thing and are like, oh, I know what game it is, and this is hilarious.
Who said the wrong thing, Samantha?
Hi. You're not getting that information. Not
until I ask a question.
Yeah.
I want to know who to be mad at.
I see.
Samantha, is the violence? Bro, what if it's like Fruit Ninja? You're an anthropomorphized character.
Did Fruit Ninja?
There is violence because you're like slicing.
They're a wrong time period.
Fruit Ninja wasn't an Xbox 360 exclusive.
But like, think along those lines, like a character that you never see.
Sure. That seems like it's on the table.
And then it's like violent. It's like suggested violence,
cartoon violence. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You're not.
No, that makes sense.
You're not. There's no victims because you're like destroying crates.
Do you want to look at my fact sheet when we're done? I want you to be impressed.
Sure. Yeah. Heath, I think our goose is cooked until question 19.
All right. Well, hey, Samantha, like,
hi.
Is what receives the violence non-human?
Yes.
It's like fruits and crates and stuff.
Oh.
It's not. You're not killing things.
It's a Wii game, but I wanted to say it's.
I mean,
it's
like a deer
box.
is non-human, and it could still be like those hunting games or
it's
whatever.
Cabela's.
But that's clearly
a
shooting.
That's clearly a shooter.
All right, Samantha.
Chris, this is the last question before I basically give away the
fighting
answer.
game
All right.
Cabela's. You're punching like an owl. Because the owl's head can like dodge and weave it.
Good God.
Heath, Samantha,
Hi.
is the developer for this game Japanese?
No.
Okay.
Okay, the incorrect fact. Chris, try not to be too mad at Heath because it was definitely him. Viva Pinata is a first-person game. It is not isometric. Heath, would you like to guess what game it is?
Samantha, Is the all the grass like confetti texture?
I don't actually
I think we only
know.
have one question left, right?
Yeah. Maybe don't waste your questions.
Is it Viva Pinata?
Yes.
Yeah. Damn.
Wow.
To be fair, I don't know how close you guys were to getting it.
Did you mention Viva Pinata first? I didn't mention it.
Yes,
I
you did.
mentioned it.
One of you mentioned it, and the other one said,
I was ready to go firmly down the Viva Pinata line of questioning until I was detoured.
Fun fact, it was developed by Rare, a British game studio.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't ever actually own this game. I played it at my friend Kayla's house, and I loved it. I begged my mom to get it for me, but she was like, we're Nintendo only house. It's on the Xbox. Tough luck, kiddo. And I guess I wish I could go play it like with the eyes of a child. I feel like now would just be disappointing.
How were you prepared to answer the genre question for
It's
that
a
game?
life simulation game.
Life sim.
You breed the pinatas. There's combat because you're whacking the guys who try to come into your farm with a shovel.
Oh, what are the guys?
Poachers.
They're like, there's weeds. There's like evil little pinatas, stuff like that.
And it's unclear who you play as?
You're like
a farmer.
essentially God, but you do carry tools and you walk around and you use your tools and stuff. So I'm calling that first person, and that's also what Wikipedia said. So
Yes. It sounds clearly first person.
yeah, I could see why if you weren't super familiar with the game, you would assume it's isometric though, because it is like why does it need to be first person? It doesn't.
Very interesting. Good pick.
Thank you.
If nothing else, hopefully it was entertaining listening for the audience.
Oh, I hope so. I hope they fast forward to when I reveal what the game is and then they listen back because it's extra funny. You should look at my fact sheet.
Facts sheet.
Oh, so
You've got
ready.
the developer down, publishers, platforms, genre, release date, perspective, online component, single player.
You can send your pinatas to other players. My friend Kayla at the time, she showed me the elephant pinatas. So you're like breeding the pinatas, right?
Right.
And they do like a little mating dance, and the elephant one was the most suggestive. So she made sure to show that to me. And the elephants like fall on top of each other in like a slightly suggestive pose because this game is for like 8-year-olds.
Wow.
So fun. What a game.
I'll have to look that up later. All right. Heath's recovering.
Heath looks
I
miserable.
feel like I need to make amends somehow. I have to do a full playthrough of Viva Pinata.
Yay! I'll do it with
stream
you.
it.
We can trade pinatas online.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for episode 116 of Mobius Tubes. Heath, do you have any opinion on whether Samantha and I should go to Bill Gray's or Five Guys for dinner?
Oh my gosh.
I know where I want to go.
Bill Gray's.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have to though. If you want to go to Five Guys.
I think I could be talked either way. That's why I'm grabbing Heath's opinion here.
I mean, Five Guys has more options, but like Bill Gray's is like, do you go to Pizza Hut or like Mom and Pop's artisan crafted, like the dough is pounded by a guy named Tony.
And this
that went
analogy
to
is
high school.
Five Guys Pizza Hut?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like there's like the chain, the nationally recognized thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the one where the beef patties are like hammered by a
It's,
guy.
Bill Gray's was a complete mystery to me when I moved here. I would
Right.
see Bill Gray's tap room and be like, I have no idea what goes on behind those walls.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know.
Very good.
Secrets revealed.
Heath, what are you doing the rest of your day?
I mean,
Playing Love Is All Around.
I'm gonna play Viva Pinata before I play Love Is All Around. Who knows?
We'll see you
Nothing
bright.
good.
Up to no good.
Yeah.
We'll see you bright and early tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Looking
yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah, I am.
And that'll be a wrap for this episode. Thanks for recording with us, Samantha.
Thanks for having me. Sorry about how tricky that question was. For
No,
you
it
guys.
was fine. You weren't the problem. And thanks for the audience for listening.
Oh,
We'll catch
Heath, I'll make
next
you the
time.
hero next time. Don't worry. Redemption arc.
Bye.
Bye.